Welcome, geeks and nerds. This is Scribe. It's been a few weeks since my last upload. If you looked at the community post, I'm actually away on business. This business trip been here for a couple of weeks and been off my upload schedule. But I'm not going to get too much into that. So I'm trying to do this quick video, but forgive me, my thoughts are still rambling on a bit. So I saw this meme on social media, and it was, the one that's meme to death, where with Empire Strikes Back, Vader, after Vader cuts off Luke's hand, and it's in the actual movie, it's the "I am your father" moment, and Luke's, but this one he's changed it to Disney ruined Star Wars. Vader claps back with a "No, you ruined Star Wars," and obviously Luke is supposed to be representative of us, the fan base. And he said, "No, no, no, that's not possible." And he said, "Both you critique, use another word, but critique heavily George Lucas for the prequels, um, bully the actors, that worked on the film, and the kind, and etc. Things like that. Uh, and then also critiquing, also criticize anybody who enjoyed the sequel trilogy. Okay, and so where I'm taking this video is not just on Star Wars, but just media IPs in general. So just think of, especially if you read read material about something, comic book, manga, or just fictional writing, and then they adapt it into story, into a movie, a TV show. You know what I'm talking about. And many of the times, it doesn't go our way, and it kind of frustrates us. Now, I meant to post something like this on May the 4th. Um, my little love interest with Star Wars, I actually love like the prequels. I actually prefer the prequels over the real original trilogy. In fact, I think the prequels for my respect of the original trilogy because for me, and I'll make this quick, the original trilogy I heard about. It came on TV. This is back when people used to watch live TV, and I think it was either the fourth, maybe the sixth one they would show, and I would watch portions of it. I would miss the very beginning, and sometimes I didn't stay to the end, but I would see little portions of Star Wars, and I would get little snippets of the total storyline, not knowing which one was. I would say, "This is the first, third one, the second one." So I was watching them out of order, all that kind of thing. So I never really got the whole storyline all intact. That was until episode one came on the scene, and I saw that in theaters, and that just, for me, um, gave me the passion for Star Wars, and just to get into the story. So after I saw episode one, so in between episode one release and episode two, that's when I actually watched in order the whole original trilogy and actually came familiar with the characters. Then playing the video game, so that was really my gateway into the Star Wars universe. And then later on, me read graphic novels of said characters in that world. So that's what episode one made me a fan of Star Wars. Um, and so put that in a box. And then I ran across a video from another YouTuber, Christian Geek Central. I'll put a link down below, and I might include a link in this one. I haven't decided yet. It won't be the entirety, but in this video, now he's talking more specifically about video games. I believe a video game came out at the time of posting, wasn't that long ago, for Spoken, and people were kind of outraged about it. So he didn't go into detail, too much detail about that game specifically, but mostly about our attachment to these. How should I put it? He's talking about video games, but I'll talk about video games or stories. Let's just say stories. You know, whether there's any kind of adaptation. Let's say that we, especially if you are like me and in my camp, we tend to take these things seriously. You know, I'm the nerd that when a Marvel movie drops, I know a good deal about it because I read the source material. I just saw Guardians of the Galaxy last week. I knew a lot some of the plot points. I knew the High Evolutionary, and so characters, things like that. And so it's sometimes from my camp we can be very passionate when something's not done correctly, at least according to us. And we would express ourselves, uh, sometimes uglily. And this is where we might get called a toxic fandom. Now, sometimes I think that's over exaggerated, but there are many times where I feel like it is accurate. Now, regardless if the creators, producers, what have you, big companies are worthy of our ire, I do want to kind of say this. Such a thing should not raise our passion, our anger to a level where it actually uh, steals our peace or our joy. There is adaptations that I've seen that I was not a fan of. And before I post something, before I just unleash my anger, I kind of think about it, really think about it. And most of the time, I just hold my peace and move on. I'll give you an example. Spider Man is one of my favorite superhero characters. And I couldn't continue reading his book, continue reading the graphic novels anymore. Now, for anybody who has, Spider-Man usually has these pain points or just some things that are common. He is a superhero that lacks balance. So him being Spider-Man all the time, which means his relationships suffer. So this has caused relationships to die out, romantic relationships, and also he can't really hold down a stable job, so he keeps the same job. Briefly, he was a substitute teacher, which all this is kind of painful because he's actually a really good moral guy, and he's also very intelligent. And for most of the storytelling, he hasn't gotten what I think that he deserves, and has been in a position to put himself in full potential. But the arcs toward the end of when I started reading, um, you know, his relationship with Mary Jane, solid. He had a good job. He had he was and that was using his intellect. I think briefly he was even with the Fantastic Four. All these things were coming to place, and it felt no one was more deserving than Spider-Man slash Peter Parker. Then Brand New Day happened, in which Mephisto, and this is kind of parodied a little bit in the No Way Home movie, but basically, if you saw the movie, the similar thing happens in the comics. Uh, Everybody forgets who Peter Parker was in order to save his Aunt May, and basically his relationship with Mary Jane is gone, job gone. He basically got put back to ground zero, and that was like the Brand New Day arc. And I read a few of that, and I just couldn't watch anymore. I couldn't read anymore. Sorry, and I just had to accept that I'm no longer part of the audience that they wish to maintain, that they wish to keep. Now I could be mad about that. I mean, I'm disappointed, but I understand that hey, the Spider-Man that I was glad that I was getting may not be the Spider-Man that new readers would adapt to because I was attracted to you know the good person that he was, yet the hard struggle that he had to overcome. So perhaps that just meant that the story's not made for me anymore, and that could be a very hard thing to kind of just accept. That what if I am no longer a targeted audience, and that's got to be the case. As I'm getting older and older and older, I mean, I'm in my 30s now, and the aim is always to get a younger audience. So you kind of, it doesn't feel good that storylines that's coming out may not reflect like my beliefs, may not affect what I would want them to do. But at the same point, I do get it. That's not saying that I can't or would never express my displeasure, but most of the time, I'm not necessarily protesting anything. I'm not overly bashing things. I just simply choose not to partake. Now, that may not be everybody's situation, but I want to um, kind of appeal to you to preserve your sanity. And sometimes I see, and again, from my side, that will express very displeasure and outrage to the point of these stories that are being created are not supposed to have this much sway over you. And I think it's way more important for you to maintain your peace than to let some big company get one up on you when that was not even their their aim. Just not the target anymore. All right, so this video is going to be longer. I might make a part two to it, but thank you for still staying here with me. You've been watching the videos. I really do appreciate it. All that are here and all that are coming. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. So I will see you later. Uh, God bless.
Route in my life, I found that I actually enjoy my entertainment more fully and frequently and get frustrated with it much less. And when we do have those moments of frustration, which I certainly still do, I think it's helpful to stop and ask ourselves questions like, okay, why am I feeling this feeling right now? Why am I upset about this? What was I maybe expecting or feeling entitled to?
Is it too good to be true? I want this so much, but don't know if I can trust you. My mind's racing fast, trying to find the red flags I'm used to. All these green lights, are they coming too soon? Caught between red